Wow, that turned out way better than I thought it would. Hello everyone, this is 101 Face here. This is not gonna make any sense to any of you right now, but this is actually the second version of this video. The original version was, shall we say, depressing. Especially if you care about Season 9 of Curious Mind. But thanks to recent development, it's only gonna be a slight annoyance instead. So let's start from the top. Around this time last year, I decided to go back to university to get a master's degree. This would start this year in a month or so. Long story short, I'm not too happy with where my career is at the moment. The way I see it, I can either do some very hard grinding like a bad MMO for the next few years, which might not even get me anywhere better, or I can take a different approach. Well, this is that different approach. The problem is, this degree will be part-time and it will take 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. I could do this full-time, but then I would have to quit my job, which I frankly do not want to contemplate right now. Doing something like this can get very expensive, so I can't afford to lose my only source of stable income. So the reason why the original version of this video was depressing is because I thought I would not get any spare time whatsoever for the next 2 years. In other words, I thought I would have to ask you guys to wait for a whole 2 years before I could even start making Season 9. Since then, I've found out that the course structure will still give me a relatively decent chunk of time for the summer holidays, which means that I will only have to put Season 9 on hold for less than a year starting from now as opposed to 2. So it's still gonna be a wait for you guys, but nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. So yeah, to summarize, Curious Mind is getting another hiatus until my exams in the summer. There's a good chance I'll be making preparations on Season 9 during Christmas and the Easter break, but combining this with a full-time job and a part-time master's degrees at the same time, yeah, that will probably kill me. Now that said, during this year, my channel will not be completely silent. Now that I know I won't have to focus on Season 9 for some time, I can work on a couple of things that I should have made a long time ago. Firstly, I want to make a shout-out video. In the last couple of years, Curious Mind has been expanding in ways I never expected. It's taken a long time, but people beyond my subscribers are starting to take notice of this series. And none of that would have been possible without some very important contributions from you guys. And I think it's about time I made something formal to thank you guys for that. So keep an eye out for that video in the near future. Secondly, I feel like I haven't been as engaged with the community as I should have, so at some point I do feel like hosting another Q&A session. When we eventually reach the 1-year anniversary of the Q&A session I had with Hunter of Matt's Mind, I'll try and arrange another one of those with him. But the last time we did that, we ended up going on a lot of tangents, and didn't really answer as many questions as I hoped we would. So chances are I'll also be making a Q&A video on my own, and be more focused on answering questions instead. And finally, I've been trying to get a second series going on my channel. One that requires a lot less work and something that I can just make in between each season of Curious Mind. My first attempt at this was total failure, but the amount of time I had to spend on that turned out to be way longer than I hoped for, which kind of defeats the purpose of having that series in the first place. On top of that, the amount of views I was getting from it was definitely not worth the time I sunk into it. Hence why it's pretty much dead. But while I was working on Season 8, I've had an idea brewing in my head. There is a good chance it will also be dead upon arrival, but it's definitely worth a shot. So after the shoutout video, there will be at least one pilot episode of this new series on my channel. Just keep in mind that this new series is designed to require less work than Curious Mind, so it's best not to expect anything too elaborate. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Once again, I want to say thank you to all of your comments of support during Season 8. And while it doesn't mean much right now, I cannot wait to start working on Season 9. While it won't be DLC related, suffice to say the courier is gonna end up with a lot of things to contemplate. Well, that's all from me. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more content.